The director just finished watching Chen Sicheng's decrypted movie, The End of Time, yesterday, and every scene is comparable to the beach and suspension scenes in Inception. Elements such as mazes and giant objects are another milestone in Chinese industrial films. The film tells the story of Shang Huo, the last single descendant of the Rong family, who was adopted and cultivated into a legendary genius in a war-torn era in the 1940s. The film is based on traditional Chinese characters. The beginning hints at everyone, and finally ends with the word, Guo, letting Rong Jinjun finish to express that he has spent his whole life completing the mission taught to him by his father. The Wind Conspiracy is Mai Jia's trilogy of overlapping battles. Chen Zhao appears in the big scene. It completely brings the visual shock of this movie to the pinnacle. He is worthy of studying in the United States. He is simply a true genius of Nolan. Or they are accompanied by numbers and passwords. In the eyes of the world, they are paranoid, weird and innocent. In fact, they are just focus all your energy on academics and no longer pay too much attention to the state of being surrounded by the outside world. Rong Jinjun has been pretentious since he was a child. He can enter a real dream and talk to people in the dream, and he will automatically interpret the words without learning. This allows him to enjoy the highest education. But here he is not understood by other students. He was bullied until he solved the problem assigned by his tutor and became famous in one fell swoop. Under the guidance of his tutor, he got to know various geniuses in the history of mathematics and increased his knowledge. Originally, he would follow his tutor like any other genius, but suddenly one day Mr. Zheng appeared. He wanted to ask his mentor Xyz to crack the message code for him, but Xyz did not want to get involved in the whirlpool of party conscription and flatly refused. Zheng Lao's special agent had already found Shez's residence and launched an assassination plan against them. Rong Jinjun was shot on the spot and lay unconscious in the hospital. Cici Isbin wanted to bring his genius student back to the United States and let him study computers with him. The living environment of ordinary people in the early days was very bad, so he decided to go to the United States to continue his research. However, due to Rong Jinzhen's injury and coma made him give up his plan to take Rong Jinzhen away, leaving only a turning point for change. From then on, the two parted ways. Rong Jinzhen joined the mysterious Department 701, while Cice joined the U.S. intelligence agency. When they parted, it was because of this there is no possibility that it will be a lifetime. After all, the secret front is so cruel and selfless. After Rong Jinjun came to 701, his first task was to decipher the secret. The amount of calculation is simply beyond the reach of the human brain. It is different from the previous genius Rong Jinjun. There is an ability to dream. He has always believed that mathematics is a living subject rather than rigid data, so he will always transform complex data into geometry in his dreams, and he can find answers to questions from these dynamic geometric figures. Although he claims that these are dreams, his ability makes people feel very mysterious. In fact, he can integrate all the clues to solve mathematical problems. Use the intuition deep in your subconscious to feel him. Because he has been dreaming for a long time and these dreams are very common, he cannot distinguish between reality and dreams at all. He can only rely on turning on and off the lights to distinguish between true and false. Although those dreams can help him, they can also swallow them up. But I seem to be talking to someone. Only then did I find myself. In fact, his dream interpretations have scientific basis, because dreams are the subconscious synthesis of complex information. It is because of his subconscious sensitivity that his dreams become difficult to distinguish from reality. It is precisely because of these incomprehensible dreams that he gives as a simple example. If we take a simple example, her brain is like a GPU for geometry. It is obvious that Rong Jinjun already has the computing power of AI. That's why she did it, because the computing path of his brain is different from that of anyone in the past. If you have a deep understanding of mathematical geometry, you will understand. Most algebraic problems can be converted in the end. It is through this method that the sub-power is geometrically transformed. Finally, it is discovered that the sub-power is a mechanical code. That is, the electric mosquito relies on the gears and rotating shafts to rotate with each other to arrive at 701 at that time. One person can understand this extreme code. Only Rong Jinjun found the answer in the geometric diagram of the dream. He also proved his ability to everyone. At the same time, Cici on the other side of the ocean was imprisoned by the U.S. intelligence agency because it is suspected that Xyz leaked the secret to Rong Jinjun, which led to the cracking of CMI. At the same time, we must keep in mind the hostility. Since the sub-power was decrypted, Xyz also developed a black power. This black power is an upgraded version of the sub-power, and as Rong Jinjun, who designed the office based on Rong Jinjun's weaknesses, fell into a kind of madness. The wife she met in the research institute also chose to leave her because she became crazy. Her group of scientific research comrades also began to question her research direction and criticized her. She began to criticize the possibility of being sabotaged by the enemy at any time. After Mr. Zheng got the secret that the enemy wanted to assassinate Rong Jinjun, he hurriedly took her away. However, they were still attacked by the enemy before leaving. They could only rely on taking some sleeping pills to survive. Suddenly one day she quietly left the hospital and came to a garbage disposal site. Here she was playing chess alone. At this moment, she was with 7-0. Only when black honey was cracked could she walk out of the dream. In her dream, she reviewed what her doctor and those around her said to her. Instantly waking up and finding a breakthrough to the problem. If you start to observe your opponent, your observation will definitely affect the person being observed. In fact, it is similar to the theory of quantum mechanics. In other words, as long as Rong Jinjun deliberately takes away the black because of sinus, some of the secret numbers were just like when she stole Rong Jinjun's flag, which turned Rong Jinjun into an observer. In the end, Rong Jinjun did not dare to crack it herself, so she gave the method to Director Yan and asked him to use it. Her identity announced a deciphering result, because once the enemy found out that it was her who successfully deciphered it, she was lucky that he chose to hide it and gave up all his achievements to save his mentor's life. Although he and his mentor are opposites, they were once the best. This will never change their past friendship. The ending ends with the great proposition of the country, turning what was originally an ordinary person into a colorful event in history. Sometimes I only meet my family once again and spend my life in 701 in silence. And a lot has happened in that short meeting. Things that were once good have long since changed. The adoptive father left with hatred. Yongwu and his sister were also persecuted and almost died. Thanks to her timely appearance, he and his family were separated after having a meal.